The clock. Let's see what the hell's going to happen. Hey, everybody on Facebook, how you doing? It's yours truly, Mike Marino, and here's another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's election night. This is it. Who will be president of the United States? Trump, Biden, or yours truly, Marino 2020, because it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And I don't even know if we could say that anymore, but it used to be a great thing, and I hope it still is a good thing. I got the news on in the background. We got a lot of shit we need to talk about. I know I've been gone for quite some time. As you can tell, I don't have 100% of my voice. Hopefully the voice will come back soon. And hopefully we'll get back to entertaining soon. And hopefully we'll be done with this election bullshit, and I'll go to the White House because I did load up the U-Haul. The U-Haul's in the driveway. I got everything. I got my bed. I got my clothes. And I got my bike. I don't think you need more than that. And some running sneakers and shit like that. So thank you, Pamela. I appreciate you saying that. We still have Marino 2020 sportswear on sale. Now, if you guys been watching what's going on the internet, there's a huge discount on Marino 2020 sportswear. A huge discount. It's like 20% off. And then I'm going to sell out the rest of the merchandise, and then that's it. And then I have some new shit coming out that I won't talk about yet. It's going to be a big, big surprise. You're going to have a lot of fun with that. But let's get on with the show. Right now, I know a lot of people out there couldn't be bothered watching Live from My Mother's Basement with yours truly, Mike Marino, because the news is on and everybody's watching the news. I was watching the news. In fact, if I wasn't me, I wouldn't be watching me. I'd be watching the news. Let that marinate. That is absolutely fucking hysterical. I don't even know what I said, but it felt very funny. Hi, Joyce. How you doing? Hi, thank you so much, everybody, for writing in. I'm going to put up the volume on the TV just so we can hear a little bit what's going on. Oh, the Latinos are voting. They never say the Italians. The Italians are voting. Everybody gets mentioned but the Italians. Unless there's a snag and there's something wrong. I think the votes were rigged. Who should we talk to? Call the Italians. All right, anyhow. So while we're watching the news in the background, I want to thank everybody for writing in so quickly. Yes, make America Italian again. I appreciate that. Hi, Brian, Donald, everybody. I don't have a guest on the show tonight. It's just me, because I'm technically not supposed to be near anybody yet. Everybody out there who've been watching what's going on with me in the world, I got the COVID-19. So let's start off tonight's show by telling you all what happened and how it happened and how I believe I actually got it. For the most part, all comedy has been shut down hard. I would say at least 80% of my work has been shot. And all the tours that I was doing, all the places that I was supposed to go to, all the theaters closed their doors and said that's it. So some people decided maybe we could do some outdoor, indoor / shows. So luckily I got to make some dollars doing that type of a thing. And we did some outdoor events where social distancing seemed to be working because you're pretty far away from the people. You wear your mask when you come in. You wear your mask when you walk around. You wear your mask when you go to the bathroom. But you don't wear your mask when you're eating. So thanks, Nick. I really appreciate that. That's right. Fuck COVID. You can write it in big letters, too. I understand. I want to say that, too. So I did this one big outdoor event, and it felt like it was great. Unfortunately, when the show was over, everybody was hugging and kissing each other because it was an Italian event. And I think that's where I picked it up. And that would be about almost 3 weeks ago. I don't know exactly what the date would be. And when I was done with that show, I had some traveling to do. And when I was doing my traveling, that's when I felt the impact of the so-called COVID-19. I had the chills. Don't you hate the chills when you get it? You're freezing your ass off. You're leaving a puddle of sweat in your bed, but you just can't get it out. So you start taking all kinds of medications that you think might be the right medication. Start drinking NyQuil like it's Gatorade, and nothing works. So when I came home to New Jersey, my little hometown here in Scotch Plains, I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to infect anybody. I didn't want to be the guy who spreads this shit. So I called 911. Local guys come over to the house in their pickup truck, or the ambulance. I called it a pickup truck. They came over to my house in the ambulance, and the police officers there too. So they're asking me all kinds of questions, but they don't want to come near you because they're in their hazmat suits, and they don't want to get COVID-19 either because I'm giving them all the symptoms. Oh, and one of the biggest symptoms was I couldn't taste anything. That fucking freaked me out because I love to eat. And here you are eating good food, but you can't taste it. And then you start freaking out. I freaked the fuck out. So what should you taste? Peanut butter. You should be able to smell peanut butter, and you should be able to taste peanut butter. And I didn't. And that freaked me out. So when a cop came to the house, he asked me all kinds of questions. Mind you, I still didn't have a fever. I had the chills like I had the flu. I lost my sense of smell, my sense of taste. That was pretty much it. So I didn't know whether I should really get in the ambulance or not because I'm thinking, man, this is going to be fucking one expensive Uber ride. But if it's an emergency, your insurance is supposed to cover you for emergencies. So I get into the squad car there, and it's kind of funny because I'm being recognized as a comedian or a local, let's say, celebrity, or maybe even from the podcast. So the cop with the mask on says, "Hey, ain't you Mike Marino, the comedian?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Wow. I would ask you for an autograph, but you might have COVID-19. I'm like, "Okay, great. Can you give me a discount on the ride?" And then I got in the ambulance, and the guy puts on this wraparound sheet, and he puts on all his hazmat clothes. And then he says, "You're the comedian, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I had COVID-19 too." I'm like, "You had it?" He goes, "Yeah. You can get over it in 3 to 10 days. Depends on your immune system." So that made me feel really good. But in the ambulance, they didn't give me nothing. I thought I was going to get to lay on the thing. I thought they were going to give me an IV. Smoke a joint, I'll taste it. I plan on smoking a joint when this show's over. But they didn't do anything for me in the ambulance. They just gave me the ride. And then I got to Overlook Hospital, which is a cool hospital here in New Jersey. Overlook Hospital. Thank you, everybody, for being over there. And they run all your vital signs. Still didn't have a fever. And I had my blood checked, and everything was good in my blood. I had my chest x-rayed. They put all that little sticky shit all over you. It looked like they're going to ignite you. That was all fine and good. But they still didn't give me an IV. I wanted an IV. I really don't even know what an IV is. I just wanted to make sure I had some Gatorade going through my bloodstream. But they didn't give me that either. After being in the hospital for about an hour, they said, "You can go." And they gave me a Z-Pack. And they said in 24 hours, they'll give me a phone call and let me know whether I have COVID-19 or not. And they did. The next day, they call up and they said, "Yeah, you got COVID-19. And here's how you beat it." I didn't get to go back to the hospital. I didn't ride in the fire truck again. Nothing. I got the Z-Pack and some flu-like medication. And I beat it just by being at home by myself. The one thing that really sucks about it is you cough your fucking nuts off. You cough these deep coughs that come out of nowhere. I felt like I was going to cough up my sneaker. And it's pretty intense. And then you cough so much, you lose your voice. But slowly but surely, I started to feel good. I got the sense of taste back. You know, I'm not making no joke of it, but I went to the bathroom one day and I took a shit. And when I smelt it, I'm like, fuck yeah. That's one hell of a shit. That's a shit I'm never going to forget. I was praying for, I didn't even light a match. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to smell this shit the rest of my life. Made me feel really, really good. So I have my sense of taste back. I could smell. I'm feeling strong now. I lost about 15 pounds. And I want to go back to the gym, but I'm obviously not going to the gym. I'm staying in my house. I got some weights here. I'm going to start working out. We'll start making some new videos because I haven't made any videos in about 2 weeks. And hopefully I'll get my voice back. Today is election day, and everybody is glued to the fucking news. I understand that. So I appreciate everybody who's watching me right now and who will eventually listen to this show in the future on all my social media channels. So that's my story about what happened to me and this motherfucking thing called COVID-19. Yours truly got it. And I'll tell you, folks, I was practicing social distancing. You know I sell masks. The masks say Make America Italian Again. I'm having a sale on all my good shit now. But if I'm wearing a mask and I have my plastic gloves on and somehow I got it, that means you can't be too careful. So, there's a lot of people who say it's a bunch of bullshit. And then there's a lot of people who know that it's not, because if you get it, you're going to fucking cough up your lungs. God forbid I had to go in the hospital and stay in the hospital and go on a ventilator and maybe disappear for the rest of my life. That would be the end of my life. So, I will practice social distancing. There's no reason why you can't wave to people. I have a lot of shows coming up that are half indoors, half outdoors. We're going to talk about how you can come, how you could participate. I actually had to go get tested again, and I don't have it anymore. When I got tested the first time, I had it. Follow-up test, I don't have it, and I am no longer contagious. But still practicing social distancing. I didn't have a guest come on the show tonight because I didn't want to be too close. I do have a shower curtain that I'll put between us when I'm ready to do it. I normally have a party while I do my podcast. I had tonight's show with nobody. Hey, Karen, how you doing? I'm glad you're watching. Nick, it's nice to see you. Keep on watching the show. And thank you, everybody, for telling me to suck on zinc, suck on vitamin D. One thing about getting sick is everybody becomes your doctor. Everybody. Everybody's calling you. Here's what you do. And then you got your friends that tell you shit that you already know, but they have to tell you again. You know what's good for the flu? Drink a lot of honey in tea with lemon. No shit, really. Where the fuck did you come up with that? I thought for sure that was a bad idea. I figured straight black coffee would be great for the flu. Oh, you know what I do? Oh, and then you got your holistic friends. I love my holistic friends. Here's what you do. Get bark from a tree that's been laying on its side for 10 years. Find a beehive that has only one bee. Find soup in a can that has been released from the can for 10 years. Mix it together and sip it. And you really just feel like saying to that guy, you know what? Fuck you. You're an asshole. You don't even do it. But you start believing, hey, maybe I should be doing something like that. I like coffee. But what I did do is I got some great doctors over the Overlook Hospital. Dr. Tribuna, great guy. I'm lucky I have some political contacts. So Assemblyman John Bramnick made some phone calls at Overlook Hospital. And all I had to do was sign a few autographs. And I got some special treatment, which is really, really cool. John Bramnick, if you're watching, thank you so much for hooking me up. And Dr. Tribuna, thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody, hopefully at my insurance company, that won't send me a bill. I would really appreciate the bill just disappearing into the COVID abyss. I'd appreciate that. And thank you, everybody who called me. I love, though, when people say, here's what you do. Go to CVS and get ginger ale. Ginger ale cures everything. So here's a nice glass of ginger ale. And I got it from one of my sponsors, Hero Kings of Nutley, New Jersey. They have their own ginger ale. So here's my ginger ale. Ginger ale cures a sore throat. Ginger ale cures a stuffy nose. Ginger ale can get something out of your eye, and ginger ale could fix a broken leg. If you ever break your leg, drink ginger ale. Thank you. One of the greatest things about doing these live podcasts with nobody around is some of your funniest fucking shit gets silenced. And it's great. Let me see real quick what's going on in the news. Oh, it's at a commercial. We don't have to take a look at that right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for writing in. We just got done talking about... Yeah, see, here comes somebody else writing in a remedy. Crown Royal works best on a sore throat. And you know what? When I'm done doing this broadcast tonight, I am going to have a shot of Crown Royal because I do have it. This is a fully loaded bar. Although it says live from my mother's basement, everything you can think of under the sun is in this bar that was built in the 1940s. There's a sink back here. There's ice back here. There's every alcoholic beverage you could think of back here. We didn't bring any sandwiches from our typical sponsor, Hero Kings of Nutley, tonight because nobody's here. We're just doing the show all by myself, so I don't need to have that type of stuff. Glad Sal Mano was not COVID. Manzo. And thank you very much for mentioning on that show. He was on the show long before I got the problem. I contacted everybody that needed to be contacted, especially since I got it. I called the people that were supposed to get themselves checked. Number one guy was my dad. And my dad happens to be a crossing guard. We were doing a lot of videos. And at 84 years old, I was petrified that maybe I got him sick. But I got sick after I was doing the videos with my dad. And because my dad works for the city, he gets COVID tested every couple of days. And he has nothing. He's a bull. In fact, it'll start snowing. My father's going to go out with a plow and start plowing the driveways in the neighborhood. That's my dad. And if he doesn't work with the plow, he'll get a shovel and he'll shovel your driveway. That's just my dad. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the story. That's what happened. I got the COVID-19 and I beat that motherfucker and I'm never going to get it again. Supposedly, I'm 90 days and I don't have to worry about any of that shit. One of the other things that I beat exactly almost like a year ago was I had to have my gallbladder removed. I had my gallbladder removed on a Thursday. I slept all day Friday and did a show on Saturday night. 6 years prior to that, I beat death again. I had 8 inches of my colon removed from my stomach. And after 2 weeks of being in the hospital, I got up and I went right back to the restaurants and started performing again. So I'm a very lucky guy, but I don't even know if I have that many more lives, so I got to watch what the fuck I'm doing. And that's pretty much it. So in closing on this little rant bit about the COVID-19, I hope you take it seriously. And I feel bad, really, really bad, for all the people that got it and suffered big time. All the people that got it and not only suffered, but they passed away. So I know there's a lot of people who got it and they beat it and they go home like the President of the United States. I don't know how the fuck he got this shit and he was out talking within 2 days. I mean, I was rolling around in my bedroom looking to beat the shit out of somebody. That's how sick I got. So I don't know, but be careful, be careful, be careful. Like I said, I didn't have a guest on tonight's show because we're practicing social distancing and I want to stay away from a couple more for a couple more shows before I have somebody come back down on the show, which should be next Tuesday. I would say next Tuesday, there shouldn't be that. Your voice sounds great. I'm glad you're feeling better and feeling stronger. No, this is not my voice. This is about 80% of my voice. I don't know where all this raspy shit's coming from. I was nervous that I wasn't going to be able to breathe correctly, but I was testing myself. I watched all these YouTube videos about how to take care of yourself. So if I take a deep breath like that, I do still cough, but not like I was some time ago. Hey, Katrina, thank you so much for saying hello. And everybody who's writing in right now, thank you so much for the purchases of the Marino 2020 on sale shirts. It was really cool to see all the sales that came in today. It was fucking crazy. I got about 90% of all the sales in the mail this afternoon. I'll get everything in the mail tomorrow afternoon. If anybody still wants to pick up Marino 2020 sportswear, they're on sale at 20% off. Just go to MikeMarino.net. Make your purchase. I'll get it in the mail as fast as I possibly can. And if it's just not the Marino 2020 that you want, of course, I do have the masks. I got the T-shirts. I got the tracksuits, the hoodies, the sweatpants. Everything is at MikeMarino.net, and I really appreciate that. That's kind of the way I'm making my living right now. Also coming down to the basement and doing this show, thanking sponsors, and we'll thank our lead sponsor at the end of the show in just a little bit. All right, so I'm not interviewing anybody. I just did my rant. I got my notes down here. And so here it is. This is the election. My point of view. Just what I'm saying. For a long time, I always thought I'd make a great president. I like to run things. I like to do things on an even keel. If you don't see it one way and you don't see it the other way, you go down the middle and you fix the problem within. I think when the leaders of the world get on television and make fun of each other the way they make fun of each other, taking jabs and stabs, it's so stupid. I think it makes us all look really, really bad. Rather than me saying what I don't like about somebody else, I'll just tell you about what I would do. And if I win, great. And if I don't, I hope the other guy does the right thing. That's sportsmanship, I think. So, now that we have all these places boarding up the city and the restaurants and Saks Fifth Avenue and the windows that everybody goes to look at for the Christmas holiday, and Macy's, and of course California, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, boarding up all these places in the fear that they're going to be riots and they're going to attack those places, break into those places and steal. Man, that fucking sucks. That sucks. Could you imagine just being the little guy with a regular mom and pop shop that when it first hit back in March, your place was absolutely fucking destroyed? And then you couldn't go back to work because we have COVID-19 and they threw restrictions on you, let's say restaurant or your mall or your place of business. Now you can't do shit. You can't do nothing. And you're losing your shirt. Sure, you get your unemployment. Now we got some goodness coming through. Maybe not the pandemic, but the fact that you were open for a little while. You made some money. You get back in the game. And what happens? The election. So what do? You board up everything all over again. That's got to suck. I'm in a really nice town here, but I have a lot of friends in Hollywood. And I'll be calling all my friends out in Hollywood, and I'll be asking them, I hope you guys are okay. Stay in the house. You don't need to protest anything. That whole protesting thing is, I know people want to get out there and express themselves, but it's dangerous. You never know what fucking moron might be hanging out with a couple of hand grenades and just decides to drop them at that particular moment because he's fucking loop-de-doo. That shit happens. So be careful out there, folks. Peaceful protest is one thing. On a night like tonight, who knows what the hell's going to happen. In fact, the news is back on right now. Let me see what's going on. Hi, Valerie. How are you? They're talking about Cory Booker in the news right now. I always liked Cory Booker. He's a Newark guy, Newark, New Jersey. He probably would make a great president. I think he's doing pretty good in the race.
Also, coronavirus on top of mind, and every registered voter was sent a ballot in New Jersey as a result. CBS 2's Christina Fan live now in Newark.
I don't know if you could hear this in the news. They're saying that New Jersey's the first, I don't know, I guess state with mail-in ballots. You know, this whole thing about mailing in a ballot, I mean, I know it's scary because you never know who's going to steal it. Maybe there's a mailman who doesn't do the right thing, or maybe there's a crook doing the wrong thing. But eventually, you're probably going to send in all the votes on the internet. Click, vote. I voted by mail. I had to. I vote in the state of California. I'm registered in California, and I had to have my friend mail me home my paperwork, and then I filled out everything, and then I mailed it here from New Jersey. So hopefully, oh, I'm sure it did get in on time, but hopefully my one little vote is going to make a difference. I got sidetracked right now. A lot of my celebrity friends have been pulling a joke with me in the last 48 hours. I've had comedian Marco Asante wear a shirt that says Marino 2020. We put it all over the internet. Thank you so much, Marco. Angelo Sarukis, who's been on many, many stages throughout the world. He's originally from Toronto, Canada. He's Greek. He's very funny. Angelo Sarukis has been doing it. My good friend Sunda Kroonquist, who's half black, half Jewish, born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey, by an Italian family. She plays my sister in my sitcom Reconstructing Jersey. Thank you so much, Sunda, for doing that for me. I really appreciate that. Also, Michael LaNoche, who's been touring the country as one of the funniest stand-up comedians. He also co-stars in a movie that I'm co-starring in called Pizza and Wine, due out at Christmas time, also starring Nick Totoro, Robert Davi, and Tori. Oh, shit, I'm going to forget her name. Maybe it'll come back to me. She's been in all the Meet the Focker movies, but she's in the movie as well. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's in it. But Mike LaNoche's in it, and we had a lot of fun. And I thank you, Michael LaNoche, for being part of the gag of Marino 2020, helping me sell shirts, raising money so that I can get into the White House, and you guys can all be part of my cabinet. I want to do a special shout out to Maya DiGiorno, who's also wearing the shirt Marino 2020. Thank you so much, Maya. Also, one of my good friends, Leonardo Datovia. Leonardo Datovia. Folks, look him up on the internet. He's got to be 6'4". He's this gorgeous model from Italy. I think he played baseball. But we did this whole funny thing because he's got long, thick, black, gorgeous hair and a big baseball bat. So we called him the Secretary of Awesome Hair. You got to check it out. It's really funny. Dear friend, Ian Ziering, who everybody remembers from 90210. Ian Ziering's wearing the shirt that says Marino 2020 as well. And we're calling him Sharknado and Swamp Thing area of defense. So thank you so much, Ian Ziering. Like I said, everybody remembers him, of course, from 90210. Before that, he was on As the World Turns. When I was on As the World Turns, we were in our early 20s. There's some history right there. But Ian right now is on Swamp Thing. So if you're watching it, check it out and say hello from Mike Marino to Ian Ziering. Oh, shit. Somebody was calling me on my phone. Who else helped us out with all of this wonderful stuff? I don't want to forget anybody. Gary Pastore, who's been in a lot of major movies. And recently, Gary is co-starring in a TV series that I'm also co-starring in called Silent Partners, which is loosely based on the mob in the 1980s out of Miami. This is going to be a great, great project. I know you're all going to love it. Also starring, of course, the lead actor, Ciro DiPaggio, and also Nick Vallelonga is co-starring in this pilot too. And he, of course, is the Oscar winner for writing the movie Green Book about his dad and his brother Frank and himself back in the day. So some pretty powerful friends I have, thank God. And I'm glad to mention their name. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Ronnie Marmo, who's been in a lot of movies as well. Oh, and he's also in the TV series Silent Partners. But Ronnie Marmo is also touring the world. Well, he's not touring right now because of the pandemic. But he was doing a play called I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce, which is the life and times of the comedian from back in the 50s and 60s, Lenny Bruce, who broke all the barriers when it came to saying some dirty-ass words. Back in the day when you actually got arrested for saying motherfucker on stage in front of people, you actually went to jail. So that's Francisco. Hey, Francisco, how you doing? What's your question? I know Frankie Lips. I'm glad you guys are all watching the show. In fact, in one more moment, we'll take some questions. And I also want to do a nice big shout out and a thank you to uh, Joe Montana, who is also wearing Marino 2020 sportswear in the joke of me running for president of the United States. But at this point, we still don't know for sure if I lost or if my U-Haul in the driveway is headed to Washington tomorrow morning. But then again, maybe nobody's going to know by tomorrow morning. We'll have a couple more days, and then I'll sue and I'll protest, and maybe I'll get in there in 6 weeks to 7 weeks or something like that. So we talked about the pandemic. We talked all about my hospitalization bullshit. Before we start talking about how happy I am that I have the sponsors that I have and the places that I'm going to be performing, now's a good time to take some questions. So if anybody wants to participate in Hey Marino, shout out what your question is. I'll give you the answer or what I at least think you should do. What do we got? Mike, did you appear on Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant? Yes, a long time ago, I performed at Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I would say that's one of the original comedy clubs that I started performing at way back in the 90s or the early 2000s. Especially was another comedy club in that area called Rascals Comedy Club. But I actually cut my teeth as a stand-up comedian at the world-famous Comedy Store and Laugh Factory in Hollywood, which I hope to get back to someday. And hopefully, with the help of God, they'll reopen and we all get to go back to work. So, dinner tonight. What is the question? What am I having for dinner tonight? I already had my dinner. I'm trying to eat healthy now, so thank you so much for asking that, Lisa Danielle Rachuba, who is a bodybuilder and a world champion wrestler, and I'd love to have you on my show when you come to the state of New Jersey. You can sit right here next to me. But I had breasted chicken, a little rice, and a salad, because I'm hoping tomorrow morning I'm going to hit the gym. And I'm also having my ginger ale. As you notice, we don't have the sponsor down here, Hero Kings of Nutley, New Jersey, where we eat these really big sandwiches, especially the number 4. The number 4 is the gabagool, pressed ham, and Swiss cheese, named after yours truly, Mike Marino. Mike, if you're elected, what's the first thing you would do? This is a great question. This question comes in from Nick Aquino, who's a great guy, always buying merchandise, always saying funny things. First thing I would do if I was elected president of the United States is I'd clean out the kitchen and I'd tell my mother and father to move in and change the menu. We're going to start eating pasta every Wednesday and Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Good question, Nick. I appreciate it. If I need any help, I'll call you. Anybody else? Thank you, Ronaldo. I appreciate you say that I'm looking good. I think you look pretty good right now. All I could see is your picture. Karen, I hope you're enjoying tonight's show. Have a great gym. Excel in Fairfield. Well, I'm not going to a gym. I have weights down here like every other Italian guy. They go up to 10 pounds, 50 pounds, and that's it. You work out your biceps, and then you go eat. That's it. Anybody else? I'm taking questions. Let's do a nice shout out to one of my title sponsors, Regina's Pizza of Akron, Ohio. I love when they send me really cool shit. Look at the size of this mug. This is from Regina's Pizza in Akron, Ohio. Regina's Pizza in Akron, Ohio have been around since 1970. And not only do they make pizza, they make all kinds of great Italian food. I want you to call him. Call him and break his balls, even if you're not in that state, just to let him know that we're down here talking about it. Let me pick it up. They send me pizza boxes. They send me coupons. Look at that. Pictures of them. They're pictures of themselves on their play money. It's like Monopoly. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. Thank you, Regina's Pizza of Akron, Ohio. They're at 2160 East Avenue, right there in downtown. Look them up at www.reginaspizza.com. What had happened one other time, I was talking about Regina's Pizza because they're celebrating all year their 50th anniversary of being in business. And, of course, it's just not pizza. It's all kinds of Italian food, sandwiches, slices, you name it, the whole 9 yards. Someone from a different area called Regina's Pizza, ordered about a couple $100 worth of pizza and sandwiches, and said to Regina's Pizza, send that to the frontline workers in any hospital in your area that you choose. So not only can we do fantastic stuff with sponsors just because we can, but you could do wonderful things with these sponsors for other people, people that you've never even met. So if you wanted to do something like that and you called up Regina's Pizza and said, you know what, I'm so-and-so. I heard all about you on the Mike Marino show, live from my mother's basement. Send a couple of cannolis over to a friend of mine who's going through some hard times. And then make that happen. And you could do it. And you could do that worldwide these days. So, thank you, Regina's Pizza, for always being part of everything that I do. Their phone number is 330-753-7797. Again, Regina's Pizza, 330-753-7797. Look them up on the internet at reginaspizza.com. I'm sure the guys would appreciate that. And they will send you products. It's cool. How do you feel about people eating brajol? I love brajol. Brajol is one of my favorite things. Okay, well, here's a showstopper. Thank you so much, Francisco. I appreciate your question. You're a great entertainer and a great human being, and I miss you. And I thank you very much for all your talent and your help. Brajol, ladies and gentlemen, is a thinly sliced steak, pounded just right. Then you put in breadcrumbs, you put in garlic, you put in onions, you put in all your spices, and you roll it up nice and tight. You roll it up so tight it looks like a joint, but a fat one. And then you roll string around it. My mother always put string around it. The string was from her sewing kit, sewing string. Then she would take toothpicks. You put toothpicks in the whole thing, and then you fry it. You fry it until it's just about golden brown, and then you put it in your sauce or gravy, whatever the fuck you call it. We called it gravy. You put that in your gravy, and not only you put the brajol in the gravy, you put your sausage, you put your meatballs, and your pork. Now you're talking Sunday dinner in your mother's basement, which is the way things used to be. But thank you so much for that question. I was going to say, what's wrong with brajol? There's nothing wrong with brajol. We just went over the whole thing. Carlo, how you doing? One of the funniest comedians on the circuit today. You guys should check out this comedy duo. They're called the Uncle Louie Variety Show.com. Uncle Louie Variety Show.com. Watch these two guys. They'll fucking make you laugh your ass off. That's $100 for that plug, Carlo. I'm only kidding. Thank you very much. Michael Fideli, thank you so much for writing in. I hope you're having a good time. I appreciate everybody watching the show tonight because I know we all could be watching the television, which is what I'm going to watch in a little bit. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to get going. So thank you to my sponsor. Thank you, of course, to Hero Kings of Nutley. Thank you to, of course, Bada Bean Coffee. I'm enjoying Bada Bean Coffee. I really am. I'm making a couple of bucks. Why not? But Bada Bean Coffee, it comes in the K-Cup, and it comes in this blend like this. All you have to do is go to www.badabeancoffee.com, use the promotion code Marino, and you'll get yourself 10% off. So go to www.badabeancoffee.com, spelled C-A-W-F-E-E, the Jersey way. Badabeancoffee.com. Use the promo code Marino. Get yourself a nice discount. You'll have some great coffee that you'll enjoy every day, every night, in the morning. And they'll even send you some swag. I love the swag. You know what I got inside my coffee mug right now? Cough drops. That's how much my throat's killing me right now. And not only did I do the right thing by taking care of myself, I took care of everything when people came over. And I haven't even had people over. You go out and you buy this shit. It's like this Dynaclean fluid. You wash your whole house with it. Supposedly kills all the bacteria caused by a COVID-19. And then you make your house smell good by using this Lysol Nutra Air. Supposedly this kills all kinds of shit that's roaming around your house too. So I don't make any money off of that product. I'm just saying that's how I got it. I got it for that reason, so that when people did come over my house, they would feel at least comfortable, because I can't really wear a mask while I'm doing this. My mother's making spandini soon. No, spelled wrong. Spandinis. Well, you're spelling everything wrong. I was never big into eggplant. I never really liked eggplant. I'm a ravioli guy. I'm a meatball guy. I like plain macaroni, rigatoni. There was something about eggplant I never liked, and I'm also allergic to seafood. Anything that comes out of the water, I would never eat. So if every Italian Catholic out there knows, on Christmas Eve, that's when your mother wipes out the ocean and cooks 7 fishes dinner. Well, I used to cry my eyes out and leave the house because I couldn't stand that smell. Gargle with salt water. There's another guy who's a complete legend. No kidding, salt water. Should I gargle with salt water? Is that what I should do? Thank you very much. My Italian grandma would make Oh, now you're talking about ugly shit. I can't stand none of that. We're talking about food that I can't stand. Listen, folks, I got to get going because I do want to watch what's going on in the world today. And I thank you all for watching me. We've had a lot of fun here on this Down the Basement podcast on November 3rd, election night. Don't forget, please subscribe to my website. It's MikeMarino.net. And when you subscribe, you get my newsletter that comes out every Wednesday night. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is Mike Marino Live on YouTube. Subscribe. You'll get to see all the new videos. I'm also on every podcast channel you could think of, especially Patreon, because I'm broke and I need you guys to send me $1. It's only $1 a month and you could keep me going. I'm always looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor me, no problem. All you have to do is instant message me or DM me, and we can make that happen. You can listen to this podcast every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock live here on Facebook, of course on Instagram, but you can hear it repetitively on my YouTube channel whenever it gets put on YouTube. And you can also listen to me on iTunes, Google, Spotify, Anchor, and ItalianAmericanRadio.com out of New York. I am always rebroadcasted on ItalianAmericanRadio.com out of New York. Pick your favorite podcast app and you will find me. I answer all questions. All you have to do is say, "Hey, Marino," and I will get that question answered for you. And again, my swag is always on sale at www.mikemarino.net. Hey, we only have maybe a day and a half more before this thing goes extinct. So pick yourselves up some Marino 2020 sportswear, 20% off at MikeMarino.net. I got to get going. Remember, let's make America Italian again. My motto is, you don't know nothing, you don't say nothing, you don't see nothing. And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By always saying the same thing. Don't take no shit from nobody. Good night. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.